Just Sean ugly crying. That'll be great.
Hello and welcome to episode 8 of season 2, so welcome to the Medins. We are on our way to go see one of our favorite bands, Switchfoot, and this is, oh my goodness, my first time seeing them in years. Peach, when was the last time that we saw them?
Forever ago when they were touring not Nothing Is Sound, the one that came after.
Oh, Gravity?
Oh, Gravity. And they were playing at a place called Trocaderos up in the Twin Cities. That was a long time ago.
I think that was my first concert that I ever went to.
I remember the Gannons were there.
Yeah.
That was a great time. But so I postponed posting today's episode, and I apologize for the shakiness. It's gonna be so bad.
It's so bad.
So for this episode, I recommend just listening to it if you get motion sick easily.
We'll see if we can post edit it. I mean, that should
Yeah, who knows? Maybe I could get it to be steady. AI is pretty impressive these days. But anyway, I wanted to postpone so we could get this footage as close to the concert as we could, because we're on our way to Clear Lake, Iowa, to the Surf Ballroom to see them live after all those years. And we're so excited to see them because they re-released their Beautiful Letdown album. And for me, that was the first album of theirs I had ever heard. And I think the first way I ever heard it too was from the Live in San Diego DVD that we had, correct, Peach?
Yes. Well, you might have heard it before, because I remember back in the youth group days, I think I was maybe like, I don't know, 15, 16 or something. The youth group that I was a part of did this thing called the Jerusalem Project, where we stayed at the church for like a week and then just went around town doing community service things and advertising for a big outreach event that we were going to do at the end of this whole thing. And during that time, somebody who was there introduced me to the Beautiful Letdown CD, which I went and bought. And then after that week was up, I brought it home, and I think, pretty sure I listened to it with you guys before we got the Live in San Diego DVD.
I think you need to have the lapel close to your mouth.
Do you remember kind of what your first impression was of that album, Peach?
The first song I heard off of that album before I bought the album was Meant to Live, and I just remember thinking that riff sounded awesome. And yeah, I guess that was kind of my first introduction to like guitar riffs and parts and stuff in Christian rock. And I guess on account of that, I just thought, it was awesome anyway, but I think that's kind of the thing that made me think, oh wow, this band is amazing. They actually put work and time into writing parts for the song. It's not all just like lyrics over chords and stuff. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it makes sense.
Yeah, my first impression of them in short was just that they played guitar super well and their music was awesome.
I remember thinking that was like super hard rock. And of course, like maybe a year later, we hung out with Christoffersons and they introduced us to what actual hard rock and heavy metal was. But I remember listening to them and being like, oh my gosh, I love this whole album from beginning to end. I don't think I ever skipped any of the songs to just get to another one because I could listen and be satisfied and happy all the way through.
Yeah, there's not a bad song on that album.
So props to you guys for writing that there, John and Tim, Chad, Jerome, and Drew. You guys did an awesome job.
I don't think Drew's in the band anymore.
We might need to talk about this.
I think I saw something that said that he wasn't in the band.
No, I kind of recall too because I followed him on Instagram and I think I'd seen like the goodbye Drew, we'll miss you. Let us know if you ever want to get back in the band post. In which case, if Drew ever did come back to the band, John, Tim, Chad, would you guys push him back in a pool as like a welcome? That's kind of a flashback actually to another big reason that we're all going to this concert together. So PJ, Drew, Hannah, myself, my wife, Daniel, his wife, our brother-in-law James, and our friend Matt.
Actually,
And
gave up her ticket for
oh yeah, that's right. Brianna gave up her ticket. Thank you, Brianna. Matt, you owe her. Thank you. um, and then Deborah and her boyfriend Ethan are all going to this concert. And a big motivator for us was many, many, many years ago. Feels like tons of years ago. Or as my kids would say, a tall time ago. We got to go hang out with the guys from Switchfoot as they were videoing. They're doing the music video for their song "Stars." Our aunt knew one of the directors or the producer or something who was working on the video, and said, "Hey, my nephews love the band. Would you be able to get them like autographs from the band?" And the guy said, "I can do one better. Do they want to come out and be with the crew to help us video this?" And which I'm pretty sure she answered before we even knew it and said yes. So before too long, we were all flying out there, and we stayed out in Cali for like a week, and then got to spend 2 days beach, 3 days out helping make that video possible. We cleaned up the warehouse that it was going to, like, the whole background was going to be set in, and then we gathered a bunch of leaves from around LA, which were going to be used in the video later. Our aunt drove us around. We'd just see like big piles of leaves. We'd rake them up into garbage bags and collect them, and then hung out at a pool where they did all the underwater stuff. But while we were there, like on set and the band was there, first thing I remember seeing was Chad, John, Tim, Jerome, and Drew walking over kind of toward us. And then we heard, "Welcome to the band, Drew." And then they pushed Drew Shirley into the pool. He had his cell phone and his wallet. His cell phone got ruined, and I think the leather in his wallet also got ruined. We were like, "Oh my gosh, this is so cool." But then what proceeded as we went on was the band would actually, the different members, depending on availability, would come and hang out with us or just come and talk to us. At one point, Peach, I think I remember you having to paint over the brand on the cymbals that Chad was using for his drum kit. And I think Chad came over and talked to us. At some point, Tim Foreman came over and he talked with Drew, let Drew wear his bass that he's going to be using for the music video. We have a picture with John, actually, all of us back when we had hair. Well, PJ and I when we had hair before any of us could grow facial hair. And then one day, I don't remember exactly how this all played out, but PJ, Drew, and my dad got asked to go get something for the band. What was that, Peach?
I think that when we were asked to get something, it was the stuff we sprayed on the cymbals to scrub the paint off.
Okay. And while that happened, my outgoing self went over to, like, they had kind of two food tables set up, and one of the tables had Oreos and peanut butter and all sorts of snacks for like all the crew to eat throughout the day. And then they were going to be bringing lunch in later, and I went to go grab a couple Oreos, and I believe it was Chad who came over to also grab a snack, and I was just kind of like starstruck. Like, oh my gosh, here is my favorite drummer right now standing next to me as I'm stuffing my face with Oreos. But I always like to eat my Oreos by spreading some peanut butter on top. And I'll shove it in my mouth. And Chad was like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, having one of the greatest things ever. Do you want to try it?" He's like, "Yeah." So I showed Chad peanut butter and Oreos. Now, thinking about it later, he probably had heard of peanut butter and Oreos and was just being very polite about a little kid who was very excited to be showing him something new.
You just want to make conversation.
Yeah, probably. And those guys are so nice, like absolutely genuine in every interaction that we had with them. And so Chad and I started talking, and then the other guys started coming around. Before I knew it, they were bringing like different things full of pasta. And then Chad goes, "Hey, do you want to sit with us for lunch?" I was like, "Oh, yes, please."
This was after Dad had specifically said, "Don't bug them."
Don't bother the band. Don't go talk to them. Just sit here nicely and be respectful. And so I went and I got to sit between Chad and John as we were eating pasta. And I remember it was like Alfredo pasta. It was elbow macaroni. Like, I'm so excited. I'm like remembering all these details, how great of a moment this was for me. And then Dad, PJ, and Drew all come back. What was Dad's reaction?
Dad's reaction was like, "What in the world? I told him not to bug the band."
But it ended up working out. Then I think PJ and Drew and Dad all got to come sit with everyone else too, and we just talked to them for the duration of lunch before everyone had to get back to filming. But the time kept going all throughout those days. They were just interacting with us, and for us it meant a lot. They signed hats. I had this UCLA visor that I'd gotten as a souvenir, which I've since lost, which I'm really sad about. But the fact that those guys who were so big and so famous in our eyes would take time throughout 3 days to talk with 3 kids about music, about life, about whatever ridiculous questions I'm sure we had for them at the time, eating peanut butter Oreos and pasta with us.
What's an A chord?
Meant so much to us and influenced the way that we decided we were going to be as a band, as individuals, as musicians. That wherever we went, and we aren't big shots by any definition, that when people who would come talk to us, whether it be little kids, medium kids, large kids, whatever the size is, however old, anytime they'd come talk to us before a show or after a show, we were going to give them our full attention because of the example that John, Tim, Drew, Jerome, and Chad set for us. And them actually famous would come talk to kids who knew nothing about music really at the time. And so this means a lot to us that we get to go and see them. And Daniel, who was a wee little lad back then, sadly didn't get to go on set with us. But Dan, what does this mean to you to get to go to the show?
I mean, they were the first concert that I went to of other than our own, and it was really fun for me. They were the only band of which I ever took the time to watch podcasts on our old iPod. And I wanted to be able to let my brothers be able to see their favorite band again. So this is very exciting for me just for that fact.
And Daniel actually sponsored all of us getting to go. So he's very generous to help make this a reality for all of us. Because in the state of life that a lot of us are in, where we have pretty tight budgets, where you got to plan out for months the things that you're going to do before you spend any money. And Daniel, being the brilliant computer scientist and security programmer that he is, makes a pretty penny doing what he does. It was just like, hey, do you guys want to go? The closest place is Clear Lake, Iowa. We can all drive together. I'll get y'all tickets. To which I don't think any of us hesitated in saying, yes, please. We have to lower that little spike there in volume post-production.
I say it was God. God was like, hey, your brothers need these tickets. And so I give all credit to him.
So hallelujah. Thank you, Lord. Through working through Daniel. Now all of us are driving from different areas. Drew and Hannah are coming up from Rochester. We're leaving from Nerstrand. Mikola, Matt, James, Ethan, and Deborah are going to be coming from, well, Nerstrand / Grand Meadow later. But something else really cool happened. So we bought tickets. Daniel bought us tickets for this that were just kind of general admission. And this is another level of how much we appreciate the band and the people that work with Switchfoot, that are all just such great people. We got the general tickets to be able to just go and attend the show. And then getting closer to the event, I just thought it'd be so cool to be able to tell the band what it meant to us, to be able to be at this show and the level of influence they had in our lives for, I don't know how old we were, Peach, at the time we went to California.
How old were we? That was just before they released Nothing Is Sound.
Yeah.
So, would have put me in again like 15 to 16.
Okay, so you would have been probably 16. Drew would have been 14, 15. I would have been 12 or 13 in there. So a long time. I'm not going to do the quick math right now and embarrass myself in front of all of you. But it just, over all those years, everything those guys did for us in those 3 days impacted us over years. And I wanted to tell them that. And I wanted my siblings to be able to join in and honestly kind of show them that picture again. Be like, hey, here we were as little kids, and here we are now as adults. Love to get this photo again with you guys and just tell you how much you mean to us.
We've been back in 2006. 2006. DJ's about like 9 years older than me. And so 15, 6 plus 9, 15. So
15 plus years ago, yeah. Sounds about right. So I reached out to the band just on the off chance that someone would reply to me as like just a hope, a dream and a hope that we'd get to hang out with the band. Someone reached back out to us and just said, hey, so the band's schedule is very busy that day, and sadly there won't be any great amounts of time where you could hang out with them, but what we can do is we could include you in the VIP experience if you'd like. If you already have tickets to the show, you can get into the VIP experience, and I'll just put your name down, how many people want to go. And so I told them however many of us are free to be able to leave early, to be able to be a part of this hours before the show starts. And looking at it, like, the Lord blessed us with basically over a $500 experience when all is said and done, to be able to go early, get a picture with the band, hear their sound check, be a part of a Q&A, and get some cool free merch and all, which, I mean, that's awesome, but just maybe have a couple moments interaction with the band. And so I've been just giddy as all get out leading up to this. I'm nervous right now. I don't think I'm really going to get to talk with the band. I don't know if they'll ever see this. Maybe I'll tag them, but maybe I won't hear that someone would watch it. But it feels like being a little kid again. My wife is going, I wish I could see you at the sound check and interacting with the band, because you're acting like a little kid right now. Like I might cry a little, honestly, because this means so much. So I just want to thank the band. Thank you, Switchfoot. Thank you, John. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Drew. Thank you, Jerome. Thank you, Chad. Thank you to the members that got back to me in the email to let us be a part of the VIP experience, to be able to have this great blessing, to be able to see the band again, and especially for such an impactful and great album like The Beautiful Letdown. It's allowing all of us to be able to hang out as siblings. Sadly, Sarah can't go because she just had a baby, and Catherine and Tyler are all the way down in Phoenix, and Brianna was generous enough to give up her tickets. That way our friend Matt could come with us. But it enables a lot of us as a family to be able to get together in the midst and the busyness and hecticness of life, to be able to enjoy something so deeply impactful for us. Do either of you guys want to add any more about it?
I found out that I didn't think so. I thought that it would only be you, PJ, and Drew that were like just whack out excited. But then I heard that Sarah was like talking this whole thing up to James. Like Sarah was just like freaking out about how awesome it was going to be for James to be able to come. So that was interesting.
So it's cool to see that even our sisters care. I don't remember them playing air guitar to "Meant to Live" at that lock. Do you remember that, Peach? The little talent show? And PJ, Drew, and Christopherson's, I think, all grabbed like yardsticks and just blared that song over a loudspeaker and air guitared the whole thing. Guys, this has so many memories for us, and honestly, more gonna come up that I don't recall right now. Hopefully, we can get some footage from Drew.
One minute, guys. 1 minute. 1 minute. Hold on 1 minute, guys. Just 1 minute. Hello? You're on speakerphone, but it's far enough away from the microphone that it shouldn't pick it up.
Okay. So this episode of Welcome to Medins, we're talking about why Switchfoot means so much to us as individuals, and why we're so excited to be going to this concert tonight. So, I guess starting off with the simplest question, Drew, what does Switchfoot mean to you, and why?
Well, Switchfoot means to ride your surfboard backwards, or with the other foot forward than your dominant foot.
Thank you, you literalist. You.
Are you not asking for the dictionary definition, or Switchfoot?
The band. Why does Switchfoot the band mean so much to you, and why are you so excited to go to this concert tonight?
I am excited to go to this concert first and foremost because it is Switchfoot. Second most because they are playing through the entirety of the Beautiful Letdown album, which came out 20 years ago, which is a little bit disheartening, but it came out 20 years ago, and the songs on it are all bangers. They're all great. I don't skip any of them, and it's one of the rare albums that I don't ever skip a song on. And if a song comes up on shuffle, I usually skip it all the way back to Meant to Live and start from there. As a bassist, it has some of the most influential bass parts for me that I've ever heard, which also would be why I was so adamant to make sure to ask bass-related questions during the Q&A session tonight.
I thought that was pretty great. I figured you would probably be the only person to ask a technical question rather than just how long ago did the band start? Why did it start? What's your favorite song? Like you asked what I imagine was a pretty unique question.
I've been waiting that whole time to try and figure out how he got the tone from the intro to This Is Your Life, because I've never been able to recreate it ever, and I've tried for like 20 years straight, and I've looked online, and the best I could find was from a Reddit AMA that Tim did like over a decade ago, where his answer was just he used a Line 6 Pod Go. Pod Go? Or Line 6 Pod. The old ones, too. The ones that look like a goldfish. You know, like a goldfish cracker. You know what pedal I'm talking about? It looked like a big old red goldfish cracker.
No, I just like goldfish crackers. I'm not familiar with pedals though.
Oh, okay, yeah, well, that was the best that we could come up with through research, and so finally I got to actually hear it from the source, exactly what a signal chain is, which I'm not sharing with any of you people until I can recreate it for myself. But he did tell me tonight, which was very exciting.
I'm pretty excited as well. One of the other things we were talking about in the car on our way here, filming our section of Welcome to the Medins for this episode, was our time going out to California to help with. I wouldn't say we helped film because I don't think they ended up really using anything that we did, the leaves or the warehouse.
Yeah, we're definitely not getting a Screen Actors Guild credit for that or anything.
Yeah, for sure. But we did talk about just what we loved about that experience and some of the things that we remember from that. What are some of the memories you had from that experience, getting to go out there to help with stars?
Oh, what were some of my favorite things? Did you guys talk about gathering leaves and junk from the gutters of the streets of Los Angeles?
We brushed over that.
Or no,
one.
that was San Diego that we were in. Did you brush up on that? You talked about it?
Just barely.
Okay.
We said that we went and got leaves and swept the warehouse, but that was it.
Yeah, the hand sweeping of the entire warehouse, and it was just like 3 kids just sweeping this whole warehouse. I enjoyed actually. I don't love pools personally. I'm not a big swimmer, but it was fun hanging out by the pool with them. We made a chain link fence, and I feel like we painted something too. Yeah, I liked hanging out by the pool. I think we made a chain link fence from what I remember, and I think we painted something as well. And then Dad and I left
for Chad's drum kit. We had to remove the brand logo from it.
Oh, I don't think I was there for that part. I think I was with Dad getting food. Because I think we went to either KFC or McDonald's. I can't remember which one. But we came back, and Dad had told us not to bug the band. They're busy. Don't bother them. They're too important for you. That sort of stuff. And so then I came back, and we found Sean sitting on the middle of the picnic bench, or the picnic table, pardon me, in the middle of the entire band and crew and everybody. And it was quite something. It was an experience to watch all the color drain from Dad's face because he thought that you guys broke the rule immediately when he left and that you were holding up production and stuff. And it turned out that you didn't break the rule. Switchfoot broke Dad's rule. They came over and bothered you.
Those guys were pretty awesome. Still are. It was fun getting to hear them in the interview section today. At the concert, they seemed to just like not have to have it be structured at all, but they were up for listening to questions or stories or compliments, and just as personable as I had remembered them before.
Yep.
So is Hannah pretty excited to be a part of this experience tonight?
Well, let's go to Hannah. Hannah?
I'm very excited. I love Switchfoot too, and The Beautiful Letdown. It's a great album.
Is there anything else that you guys would like to say about this time getting to hang out together as a family and see Switchfoot?
It's gonna be awesome.
I agree. It is going to be awesome. I'm stoked about getting to hear all the songs because I know I've heard most of the songs on the album live, but there's a few that I don't think I have heard because I've seen this band. I don't even know how many times. Like performance wise, how many times would you guys guess? Because I remember we went and saw them when Nothing Is Sound came out.
Up in the cities, and then we've seen them at, I think, Sunshine and Lifelight.
Yep, Sunshine and Lifelight, and I feel like there was. Oh, PJ and I went to their Christmas concert. That was super fun. Oh, and then we went with our friends Megan and Paul Cravens. Paul Paul's a composer, by the way. He's a really interesting composer. So if you've never heard Paul Craven's music before, check out Paul Craven's music. But yeah, we went with them. So yeah, it's been like what 5-6 times or something over the years, and it's been really fun every time. And I'm just super excited to hear this album played in its entirety. It's going to be pretty awesome. And they demoed just that isolated bass line from "This Is Your Life" during the Q&A section. I'm excited to hear that in the full context, but man, it was awesome sounding just by itself too.
I know. I was just waiting for the rest of the band to kick in and start playing that song. I kind of want to be like, just play this song, please.
I know. I felt like I might have been a little pushy. I realized after I said, because he was like, I don't know, should we play it? And I was like, yes, yes, you should.
Absolutely, yes. No questions.
Yes, do play it. That's an order. So whoopsie, might have let my fanboyness get the better of me a little bit, but yeah.
Here we are, getting ready for the show to start.
Hey, I'm literally, hey.
So that is the final song on the Beautiful Letdown CD on shuffle for y'all here.